Hello, hello! Welcome to Vivid Bad Squad event summaries. I've learned from my mistakes with the Night Court events, so I've decided to start the VBS summaries with the main story. Each unit gets a main story that consists of 20 episodes as opposed to focus events, which have 8 episodes. It explains a given unit's origin and how their specific Sekai is formed. Let's get ready to meet our starry-eyed street performers, Vivid Bad Squad. As this is the main story, it was released with the game on September 30th, 2020. Feeling a bit lost? Don't worry, everything will become more clear as we get into the story. Shall we? Deep in the neon-lit streets of Shibuya, all sorts of music drifts up and down the colorful alleys. Live houses and music clubs litter every other storefront, and tonight, one of them shines far more brightly than the others. An event unprecedented in the history of live music events. A crowd so electric you can feel it in the air. At the front of the crowd stands a young girl, cheering on the performers, practically leaning over the gate between them. It's an extra special event for An Shiraishi, as her father is the lead singer up on that fateful stage. In that moment, she wants nothing more than to rise to her father's level and put on a show that could surpass this legendary night, this rad weekend. And, nestled in the crowd, there stands another child set alight by the electric energy. A boy around the same age, his own wish not so dissimilar. Some years pass and An is old enough to work part-time at her father's cafe, Weekend Garage. A regular customer asks An if she's found any other band members yet, to which An replies no. That incites some comments about An rejecting some up-and-coming musicians just because they didn't believe that surpassing Rad Weekend was possible. That's quite the deal-breaker. An heads out to the Scramble Crossing for another street performance after her shift, pulling out all the stops as per usual. A timid girl stands at the back of the crowd, admiring An's courage and skill from a distance. After An's finished for the day, she checks her phone to see a song called Untitled on the home screen. She didn't remember downloading anything, but An presses play on the song anyway and is immediately engulfed in a flash of light and prisms. It brings her to a quaint little cafe on the corner of a street lined with graffiti and murals. The only other person inside is that quiet girl from the street earlier. An doesn't recognize the girl, though, and automatically assumes that she works at the cafe they found themselves in. The girl starts to clear the air when the two are met with Miku, Len, and Meiko, who call An and Kohane by name. Miku tells the girls that this is their Sekai, and no, it's not a dream. A Sekai is a place created by the feelings of those it belongs to, and when the hosts find their true feelings, those emotions will give birth to songs. That's why the Vocaloids are here. An doesn't exactly understand any of what's being said, so don't worry if you're a little lost too. All of this information is being given super fast, but you'll catch on. Miku asks the girls what their dreams in life are. Kohane doesn't have anything, but An quickly gets to talking about surpassing Rad Weekend. She's just doing the best she can, training, getting her name out there, looking for bandmates, never letting that determination waver. Kohane finds it admirable. Miku has no doubts that they'll find their true feelings very soon. Suddenly, a flash of light sends the girls back to the real world, right back to where they were before the Untitled song played. Both girls recount the event as a sort of funny dream, but still, the memory of each other sticks out in their minds. Kohane thinks that whoever she was talking to was really nice, and An thinks the same, but vice versa. This could be the start of something new. We get to see a little bit of what Kohane's daily life is like. She's extremely shy, that much is obvious. Not ambitious, not driven, just letting life pass through her. Kohane isn't exactly happy about it, but finds it hard to change. Her mom texts her and asks her to pick up a CD on her way home from school. It leads Kohane down a back alley in Kamiyama Street, where she promptly gets lost after buying what she needed, and conveniently, her phone just died. Kohane wanders the different connecting streets, trying to muster up the courage to ask someone for directions, but it's no use. The sun has almost fully set by the time she steps onto Vivid Street. Though Kohane is internally panicking, some entrancing music pulls her into a cafe where she resolves to ask the employees inside for help. Kohane's attention is immediately stolen by the stage in the back of the cafe. That girl from her dream is there singing with a few others, but they're not as captivating. She finishes her song and comes over to greet Kohane, who promptly gets so flustered that she runs right out of the cafe. Somehow, Kohane makes it back home, and all she can think about is how cool that girl was. She tries looking for the song she heard the girls sing when Miku pops up as a hologram on Kohane's computer. Miku tells Kohane to come visit them in the Sekai. Everyone's waiting. Then, Miku disappears, leaving the song Kohane heard earlier in her wake. But the chorus is a bit different, and a few other parts too. 1 week passes and Kohane has been absolutely consumed by thoughts of that girl and her song from Weekend Garage. Through a conversation with Minori, Kohane decides to pay the cafe another visit. As she's looking, someone overhears Kohane talking about Weekend Garage. He has some time to kill, so... Kohane is immediately recognized as the cute girl who came in the other day. She's introduced to Mr. Ken Shiraishi, the owner, and his daughter, An. Ken leaves the two girls to chat after serving Kohane, and they go through the pleasantries of meeting a new person. Which school they go to, what year, how they know about Weekend Garage and how it was opened, etc., etc. Kohane tells An the reason that she came back was because she wanted to hear An sing again, to which the latter happily obliges. Oh, this whole time, the song An sings and the one Kohane's been referencing is Bring It On, which the two of them plus the Kagamines will eventually cover. Kohane excitedly gushes about An's performance, and even imitates some of the lines when words aren't enough to get her feelings across. As soon as Kohane sings, even just a throwaway note, An's expression goes completely slack with shock. She urges Kohane to sing, and since it's only the two of them in the whole building, Kohane agrees. Her voice... It's gentle, but it carries in a way that makes An want to join in. So she does. And it absolutely blows her mind. Kohane is the person she's been looking for all this time. A perfect partner in her quest to surpass Rad Weekend. An asks Kohane to join her in her endeavor. Ah, did you want to know Kohane's answer? Sorry, it's time for another live performance by some unnamed ginger and his blue-haired friend. Bad Dogs has put on yet another incredible show, one that has left their audience reeling. Akito, the ginger, and Toya, the blue-hair friend, talk about their shared goal of surpassing Rad Weekend. When Ken Shiraishi was their age, shows like these were child's play. They need to improve quickly if they're going to reach their goal in a timely manner. This unnamed brunette guy hypes them up a bit, but neither of the boys give him much attention, until he starts saying how impossible surpassing Rad Weekend is, and Akito rips into him. Nameless musician guy acts like this is all par for the course though, suggesting that Akito teams up with Ken's daughter, An. It seems like she has the same goal anyway. Akito wouldn't mind doing that, so long as An has the talent and the drive. If you've learned anything from the short time we've known An Shiraishi, then you should know that she has both the talent and the drive. Kohane seems hesitant about An's proposal, which is to be expected, so An just tells her to take her time. Singing with Kohane was exhilarating. It made An remember why she wants to surpass Rad Weekend. So who cares if Kohane hasn't performed in front of others before? An will support her. That's what partners do. Kohane accepts, hoping that trying something new will give her new purpose in life. Just then, Akito and Toya walk into Weekend Garage. An introduces everyone to Kohane and vice versa, though Akito does most of the talking on the Bad Dogs' end. Those three have known each other since middle school, and they're all in the same year at Kamiyama now. Speaking of which, it's been a while since An devoted herself to surpassing her father. Isn't it about time she found herself a singing partner? Well, it just so happens that she has. Like 2 minutes ago. Akito missed his chance by 2 minutes, and he's not happy about it at all. Not because he missed his chance to team up with An, no. It's because Kohane's never performed anywhere before. Hell, she's so timid she can barely speak to Akito right now. A strange expression falls over Akito's face as he invites An and Kohane to an event Bad Dogs will be performing in the following month. One of the other groups backed out, so there's a spot that needs to be filled. An accepts. Toya, having not said anything other than a polite hello at the beginning, looks on with veiled concern. Toya confronts Akito as they leave Weekend Garage. Truth is, Akito wants to teach An a lesson. He hates anyone that can't commit to their goals fully. Akito used to play soccer for a long time, right up until he started high school. All of that time and dedication made him the best player on his team. But once he went up against a nationally ranked team, he realized that the massive skill gap between himself and those who would sacrifice everything for their goal. Rad Weekend was that spark for him. Something he could sacrifice everything for. He thought An was the same way. but apparently not if she's willing to team up with some amateur. So they'll crush An and her half-baked partner at this event. While An and Kohane are going through possible songs for their first event, they come across an untitled song. When Kohane presses play, the girls are swallowed by a flash of light and transported into an unfamiliar street, though it does look a bit like Vivid Street. There's even a rad weekend flyer. They landed near a little cafe and out walks Hatsune Miku, the one and only. She brings them inside to meet with Meiko and explains everything. Most of that explanation was already covered in the dream sequence from before, but there's one new bit of information. An and Kohane can freely enter and exit the Sekai by playing or stopping the untitled song. It's a place created by their feelings, after all. Well, I say feelings, as that's the word the translation uses, but it seems to me like a better word would be aspirations. Only, Kohane doesn't have any aspirations. Is it possible that this Sekai was created from An's dream instead? But no, Miku quickly shuts that down. It's made by the both of them. Actually, by all four of them. Who are the other four? Well, Sega loves their cliffhangers, no? But I'm sure you figured it out already. The next stretch of the story is An and Kohane practicing, Kohane getting used to singing in front of crowds, and Toya looking on from a distance, remembering when he and Akito used to be like that. Now Toya just follows the routine, his own spark fading. He seems hesitant. Regardless, their performance that night goes well. Unnamed musician guy from earlier talks to Bad Dogs about their little event with An and Kohane, saying he'll have to lend the boys some support of his own. Akito tells him to stay out of it. The guy just shrugs and says he won't do anything too bad. Oh, and as a quick interlude before we get into the dual performance, Kohane runs into Toya on the street. He asks her if she's serious about surpassing Rad Weekend. Truthfully, Kohane only found out about the event a month ago. It's hard for her to be as serious as An, but An's energy is just so electrifying, it pulled Kohane right in. It makes her want to chase An's dream alongside her. This, she knows, she's serious about. The day of the event arrives, and in typical Akito fashion, he judges the hell out of An and Kohane as they laugh backstage. Toya convinces him to listen to the girls without judging at least once. Akito agrees. So, let's welcome the Vivids to the stage. Everything starts out great. Kohane doesn't mess up her intro and syncs right up with An. But suddenly, the music cuts and the lights blink out, causing Kohane to freeze up on stage. An picks back up without the music, but Kohane is too shaken to be able to continue. Akito runs back behind the curtain to see what the issue is. Oh, would you look at that? Evil unnamed brunette singer guy, what a surprise. He pulled the plug on the speakers and the stage lights during the Vivids performance. An and Kohane find the three boys arguing outside, overhearing everything. Well, almost everything. Evil singer guy runs off the moment he spots the Vivids, leaving An to accuse Akito of sabotaging them. Toya tries to clear the air, but Akito takes the blame. He airs out his frustrations with An's choice of partner and insults the hell out of Kohane. In the end, Kohane runs off, leaving An to chase after her, and Akito and Toya to go give the audience a show. Poor Kohane has locked herself in her room, sobbing, not responding to any of the messages An is sending. She suddenly gets the idea to go to the Sekai and tell everyone about what happened. Meiko and Len tell Kohane that even just the fact that she's so worried about what Akito said is proof that she wants to change. The three Vocaloids help Kohane realize what she truly wants, to sing with An and chase her dream, their dream, together. Kohane goes to see An at Weekend Garage the next day, a brand new haircut and style to boot. An is very happy to see Kohane's burning resolve and starts planning their next event without skipping a beat. And, well, it just so happens that Akito and Toya walk in at that exact moment. Akito tries bullying Kohane again, but she stands up for herself this time. Bad Dogs has an event next Saturday, thank you for the info, Toya, so it'll be time for the rematch. Ken comes back to the front of the store and comments that Kohane is starting to get that look in her eyes, the same one that An and Akito have, like they have something to lose. What could a jerk like Akito have to lose? He clearly has some major tunnel vision going on. Akito barely notices the way that Toya has been acting all this time. Toya comes home late to his very angry father. He knows Toya's been spending time with that terrible influence of a friend, playing trashy music that won't get him anywhere. Toya tells him to get out. See, Toya was a classical music prodigy. Keyword was. He still has all of the skills, but he desperately wants to get away from classical music. He would have done anything so long as it wasn't classical. Toya feels he doesn't have that resolve. What would Akito say? To find out that his longtime partner was only there because it wasn't classical music. He shouldn't be the one up there with Akito. At the rematch event, everything goes well, for real this time. The crowd, along with Akito and Toya, are absolutely blown away by the Vivid's performance. Akito realizes it then. The girls do have that resolve. Isn't it about time he admitted it? An, Akito, Kohane, they're all on a different level. But not Toya. This is as far as he goes. Toya decides to split up Bad Dogs. He says some really awful things he knows will provoke Akito. And they do. It's hard to put their fight into words without directly quoting them. Everything that Toya says are things he's been on the receiving end of himself, at the hands of his father. Akito can tell where the influence is coming from. The fight gets physical, and Toya takes it all, letting Akito rough him up before the latter storms off. Akito thinks about how he and Toya first met, how they became partners, and how much they've improved since then. Really strange timing for a Sekai cut-in, but I wanted to mention it because Len confirms Akito and Toya to be the other two people whose feelings affect the Sekai, in front of An and Kohane. Okay, back to the weekend garage. Akito is sad his boyfriend broke up with him. Cool. Fast forward 1 week and Akito is still depressed. Who would have guessed? When Kohane runs into Toya at the CD store the next day, the Vivid's suspicions are all but confirmed. Surprisingly, though, the evil unnamed singer guy finds them not a moment later and confesses to his crimes. That does mean that An and Kohane know that Bad Dogs were innocent, but it doesn't really change anything since the boys are still fighting. Kohane decides that she's had enough and goes over to Kamiyama High one day to talk to Toya. Despite the attitude he has and the decision he's made, Toya always looks like he's having fun when he sings with Akito. He doesn't even realize it himself. Unfortunately, this causes Toya to have a bit of a feelings crisis, and he runs off to avoid more prodding at his emotional state. Guess what? Akito is still depressed. Wow, is anyone shocked? Alright, I'll stop making fun of him. Akito notices the untitled song after one of his solo shows, and is promptly dragged around by Len. Since Toya isn't with him, the others interrogate him about what happened. Akito only stays because Meiko gave him cheesecake. He opens up a bit about what happened between him and Toya, clearly still immensely distraught about the whole thing. Meiko says she has something special for occasions like this. Hold on, wait, is that a whiskey glass? Meiko, you can't do that. Oh, it's actually just tea. Okay. She's trying to make a point that things aren't always as they appear. Akito gets a call from Ken. Toya is at Weekend Garage, and he's saying he's come to say goodbye. Akito practically sprints out the door. Toya airs out all of his pent-up emotions to Ken, with An and Kohane listening in the background. He even talks about his childhood, and how his father wouldn't let him do anything other than practice piano and violin until his fingers bled. As he said before, Toya would have done anything as long as it made his father angry. Akito just so happened to pick him up from the streets, and Toya's been relying on him ever since. But enough is enough. Though there is one person who still hasn't accepted Toya's decision. Akito throws open the door to Weekend Garage, and the two see each other for the first time in days. Ken left his phone on the line with Akito, so he heard everything. Is it true? Does Toya really not want to do this anymore? Toya is very stubborn. He thinks this is what he wants, but when Akito finally admits that he only made it this far because Toya's been by his side all this time, Toya lets his true feelings show. Of course he doesn't want to quit. How could he? Even so, nope, Akito cuts him off right then and there. If Toya wants to keep singing with Akito, what else is there to say? Well, now that the boys have finally realized their true feelings, the untitled song flashes and brings everyone to the Sekai. Toya does not seem fazed by this development at all. The song born from their shared aspiration to surpass a legend blooms in the street Sekai, as the Vivids and the Bad Dogs sing like they never have before. The next day, Akito realizes something at Weekend Garage, but An beats him to the punch. Isn't it about time that the four of them team up? They all share the same goal, synergize perfectly, and have their own little pocket dimension created by their shared feelings. Seems like the most logical next step, no? So let's pick out a new band name. Why don't they just combine Vivids and Bad Dogs? And there's 4 of them, so Vivid Bat Squad. Catchy, don't you think? Now, it's time for this journey to begin. A race to the top, an event like no other. Ready, steady? And that is the start of Vivid Bat Squad. We made it, finally. God, I knew this video was going to be a long one, but I forgot how dense the main story is. I remember when I read this for the first time, I was really impressed with how good it was. Looking back, I was probably just impressed with how much homosexual energy they shoved into these 4 people, but I digress. I wanted to mention the Journey to Bloom animations that were released for the 3rd anniversary. They're condensed animations made for each unit's main story that give some more visual context for the events. I would recommend checking that out if you like this story. Even if you didn't, it's kinda worth it to see Akito punch Toya in the face. And his reaction to the Sekai, oh my god. And now that it's not spoilers anymore, the commissioned unit song for VBS is Ready Steady. You'll see it come up a few more times later. We'll be moving into the focus events for VBS now, starting off with On and Singing in Sync. I'll see you then.